Welcome to the Gritcast, where we get into the nitty-gritty of all things hockey. From the East to the West Coast. Here are your hosts, Matt Pierce, Nikosh Ganguly, and Darius Dominguez.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the third installment of the Gritcast. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Matt and Darius.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back. There actually has been some news since the last time we spoke, so that'll be interesting. First things first, let's get right into it. We've talked about Calgary every goddamn episode, so you know what? They did something again, so let's get right to it. Nazem Kadri has signed a 7x7 deal, 7 years, $7 million, in Calgary. What did you guys think of it?
Nothing to think except the summer Brad Tree living continues, you know. Just another, I don't want to say desperate move, but he just saw, hey, let's go get the biggest fish in the sea, so went out and got Nazem Kadri.
Flames are a wagon. They've made some really good moves. Like, you lose Gaudreau, and you know Tkachuk is leaving, because he actually told you, unlike Gaudreau. So you ship him out. You get in Huberdeau, who just set a record. We talked about it last episode. If you want to hear that conversation, go listen to our last podcast. But now you get Kadri. Like, you have a good 1-2 centers on this team. Like, they've completely retooled. Like, they're not going to be bad as many people thought they would be, losing Gaudreau and Tkachuk. Like, this is still a very good team. They can make a run. And like Matt was talking about, as he did last episode, the episode before, the Oilers could run away with this now in the battle for Alberta. I don't know. I'm not being too quick to give them the battle for Alberta championship, because the Flames look. I like what they've done. I like this move, and I like it for Kadri too, because he's staying competitive while making as much money as possible. Like, I thought he'd probably get $9 million, or that's probably what he was asking. But in this market, yeah, I see the face. In this market, it's tough, right? So for $7 million for him at his age, after just winning the Stanley Cup, it's a good move.
Yeah, my bad.
Oh,
you go
sorry.
ahead.
It's crazy too, because everybody thought that, you know, Lou Lamoriello was planning up this big move for Kadri, and then Kadri said what he wanted, and Lou's like, absolutely not, pal. And then, you know, Kadri took less for the Flames. And he probably thought too the situation in Calgary is way better than with New York, and Kadri said he wanted to run it back in Colorado. That didn't happen, so his next best option is to go to Calgary to sort of help alleviate the pain of past years where, you know, they just couldn't get over that hump, and hopefully bring something more than, you know, a first round win to Calgary. That's something they desperately need.
I think it's a good opportunity for him in Calgary too. Like, he's going to be a player that matters. He's not going to be like a third line guy or whatever, which he was in Toronto, and which I like kind of in Colorado. But like, he wasn't the guy, but he has a chance to be the guy, like a number one center here. Which, can he at this age? I don't know, but we know he's a good player, and he's a guy who just won a Stanley Cup, and it was a big part of it. So it's a really good signing for him too, not just the Flames.
I was just gonna say, I like Kadri in Calgary. Honestly, like, I think Calgary is one of the most least entertaining teams in the league to watch, generally saying, just because Daryl Sutter coaches them at the end of the day. But I think Kadri, was kind of underrated. I think Kadri and Daryl Sutter will be pretty good. Like, I think he'll force there. It's a pretty good spot for him.
That's a good, yeah, that's like how should I say this? Like a coach's player. Like, he is a Daryl Sutter player. Like, he's gonna loves a type of player like that, right?
And like, I'm not gonna say like Kadri's like Anze Kopitar, but I could see the mold, kind of, you know, like the role rather that he's gonna use him in. Just daily faceoff in August. It's not always gonna be the best thing to use, but when you look at it, you have the first line. We kind of discussed this last week with Huberdeau, Lindholm, Toffoli. I don't know how long Toffoli lasts as your number one right wing. I could see Mangiapane or even Dylan Dubé, both of them moving up. But like Blake Coleman, Kadri, Mangiapane is the second line. That's not very. I don't think it's one of the top tier second lines in the league. But I definitely think they're not very fun to deal with. And I also like Michael Backlund. He's not as good as he used to be by any means. Like, he used to be one of the best defensive centers in the league, and he's still really good. And I think you have him in the third line role. That's a nice trickle down effect, which is great for them. Casual slot on the power play. He's always been like a really good power play player. He gets a lot of points there. I'm just looking at his numbers last year, which is surprising. He had 21 assists on the power play himself, and then he had 8 power play goals. So that's pretty good. Almost
That's
30 points
really
on the
good
power
for him.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to mention too, they gained Kadri, but there's also sort of that like addition by subtraction when it comes to getting rid of Sean Monahan with the trade to Montreal and the conditions of that. I read that 3 times over, and it's like, what were these two GMs bored where they decided, hey, well, let's make a conditional pick and make it confusing for everybody. You don't see that in other leagues, but in the NHL, they just kind of threw something together. I don't know, because they're bored. So.
Who has that much
but
time
again,
on their hands?
No, but
those
again, like losing Monahan doesn't really go to a better spot, but there's always that change of scenery that could sort of influence a player. Say, hey, you thought I wasn't good enough? Okay, watch this. And I'm not really expecting it out of Sean Monahan, but never say never, right? So
I think Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like Sean Monahan, very injured the past couple of years. I think he got a little bit overrated when he had like his point per game seasons, just because Gaudreau was unbelievable. You see what he's done with like Elias Lindholm in that time as well. Like I don't think Monahan was ever that perceived like number 1 center that everyone thought he was. Don't get me wrong, he was probably pretty good.
That was like the main thing people would always say, that he's in the slot, but he's not a number 1 center, right? Like he's playing. He's in the number 1 center spot, but he's not a number 1 center. That was always the thing.
There's also all the injuries, too.
Yeah.
They've added up, and like I think in the like he was healthy scratched a lot this year. He barely had any points. Personally,
it was because of the hip thing, though.
Yeah. It screwed him over.
Yeah, for sure. And then he had the surgery, which like, who comes back from hip surgery and is better? Usually not. So
or good, like
or even good. Yeah. So I think for Habs fans and everyone, like, just lower your expectations to like this guy shouldn't even be playing, and then whatever he produces, that's great, because the Habs are playing with house money with their salary. Especially
they already got a first-round pick, right?
And they got the first-round pick out of it, right? Like they're laughing, like they're still building the team. Like if you think the Habs are gonna be like, oh my god, we got Monahan, so we can actually make a run next year, like don't think that's wrong.
And expect the unexpected. That's when it comes to
exactly.
With reclamation projects like Sean Monahan. That's all of this basically boils down to, a reclamation project.
100%.
So you see what you can get out of him, and if not, either bury his salary or just kind of cut all ties with him. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think another thing, we're kind of shying away from Calgary because I feel like we talked about them enough. Like
through 3 episodes, in 3 episodes of
like
Calgary.
Kadri's gonna be the second line center. He's gonna be solid. I don't think he's gonna put up 90 points again. Maybe like a 60-point, 30-goal guy, which is what he's been.
Style of
most
play
of his
for
career.
Calgary is different, right? So it's not going to be. It's not surprising that he won't put up as many points, but it doesn't mean that he's less successful.
Yeah, and speaking of Montreal, Carey Price probably isn't going to play next season. It's sad as a hockey fan because like I feel like this is kind of like I feel like we're kind of getting to like the end of his career here. Like if like something's got to give. It's really sad to see because I think what was it like his knees. They're going
everything.
Everything for that guy.
See, it's Lundqvist all over again because you kind of see Lundqvist at the end of his career and like he deserved way better than what he got. Like I think he had like Olympic gold, but same with Price too. But on the NHL scale, you just wanted to see him succeed, and he wasn't exactly given the support in front of him, or there were injuries like Price with Kreider in 2014. It's just you see all these superstars and you don't see him get the trophy case that they somewhat deserve, and that's just hockey.
Yeah, as a hockey fan, like it sucks, but it's like if he can't go, he can't go. Don't force to come back. Like enjoy your life. You know what I mean? Like there's life after hockey. He's 35. Like we forget that he's not like 27.
Like that's
anymore.
old. That's old in hockey terms, but at 35, that's still extremely young for like normal people.
Yeah. Like go enjoy life at home and time with kids and your family and stuff, right? Like don't like work yourself to get back. Like we see it so many times that they like ruin themselves and then they can't even play. Like Nathan Horton, like there was a story that he can't even play with his kid or whatever, right?
That happened with Clefbaum too, right?
Yeah, he's got the shoulder arthritis, and it was either play through extreme pain or just called a career. And he's still extremely young. I think he's not
He's
even
in his
30.
20s. Yeah, for sure.
Because he was the same draft as Nuge, and Nuge is 30, so early 30s, but still, that's very young, and he had a promising future. And again, life gets in the way of success sometimes.
Yeah.
For sure.
At the end of the day, he was at the tail end of his career anyway, right? Like
Price?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the sun was setting there.
Yeah,
sun was
like,
setting there for sure.
Definitely. Like the last game he played, he was probably 33, I guess, which seems young. But if you look at it right now, like 35 to come back from everything he has to, like it's not surprising, but it sucks that he can't continue because he is a generational goalie.
I feel like one of the underrated things that like we don't really talk about is how like the Habs went on like this crazy run, and like now their best two players they can't play anymore. Like Weber and Price, like they both just couldn't play anymore.
I know,
which is
it happened quick.
Like it's so interesting. I don't know. I feel like it's just genuinely interesting to me. Like first of all, what injuries were they playing through in that run? And second of all, like you go from playing at the top of your game, top level, like the best you can, and like within 3 months, you literally can't play hockey anymore. It's kind of crazy to me.
That whole pandemic season, it was like 56 games packed into like 4 months plus the additional playoff games. It takes a toll on you, and if you're not, I don't want to say if you're not ready for it, but if you haven't experienced that before, then it can catch up quickly on you.
Yeah, and I think like once you're in it and once you're going through it, and I think everyone saw it with the Habs going round to round, like when you get hot, you build up that momentum and you're in it, you're just playing through these things and it just feels natural. Like you're trying as hard as you can. Your motor's always 100%. So they just play through these things. Like Weber's hand, I think it was his hand was like shattered, and they're like, yeah, he's playing in the Stanley Cup final. And then Price too, he was like injured. Yeah. So I think once you're in it, like you're just like giving it your all because you're like, we have a chance here to win Stanley Cup. Who cares about after? But then the after comes and you're like, oh, my hand is shattered, right? Like
yeah, like
I can probably never play again.
Adrenaline only gets you so far until it catches up to you, and you go, oh, this hurts.
Exactly.
And then you feel every single pain associated with playing the 56 plus 20 some odd games in the playoffs, and that much hockey in less than half a year. That's dangerous almost.
It is.
So yeah,
you need more of a break than that. But yeah, you go into like Game 5 of the Stanley Cup final, and you're like, nothing else matters than the cup right now. Like nothing. I'll lay in front of a puck, whatever. And then like the season ends, and you're like, my body's destroyed. So life comes at you fast. Like that's how it goes, I guess.
Yeah, I remember like, it was like almost like right after the Stanley Cup finals, like they were like, oh shit, Weber's probably not going to play again. I'm like,
I think it was like the next day, honestly.
Yeah. They were like, he's probably not going to ever play again. I was like, what? Mm-hmm. That's so crazy considering what we just watched. But yeah, I'll just put a bow on this quickly. So yeah, Monahan, Montreal. If he does anything, it's found money. I like Kadri in Calgary. We'll see how big their cup window is. Their core got a little bit older by replacing like Kachuk and Gaudreau with Huberdeau and Kadri. But I feel like they still they came out pretty well out of that. I don't know if like on forward they're that much better, but like I'll say I have Mackenzie Weegar, right? So that's pretty sick. But yeah, hopefully we don't have to talk about Calgary for a while now because I'm kind of done talking about
Till
them.
at least the start of the season, please.
Yeah.
Just watch them get Kessel, and then we have to talk about them next week. But we'll get into that later.
We'll get into it right now, actually.
Okay. So
later is now.
Free agency. Now that like Kadri is off the board, there's a couple guys that are left. Phil Kessel, PK Subban, who would have been crazy 10 years ago. Wow, to get them. And then
would have been crazy when he got drafted.
and then Paul Stastny, who I think is a sneaky good player. I've always liked his game. He's always been very solid.
Let's leave Stastny for last, I think.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
I'll just say like he just signed in Carolina, which is good.
Yeah.
I think it was 1.5 mil. But yeah. In terms of the free agents left, Matt, I think you have it open, right? On Cap Friendly?
Sport Track.
Yeah, whatever it is.
There's really not much. Like there's Subban, Kessel, and then there's all the guys that are on LTIR.
Isn't there the RFAs, the non-RFAs, I guess, who haven't got signed yet?
It wouldn't be RFAs. Yeah, it would be
Sonny Milano.
Because I know Ryan McLeod's still yet to be signed by the Oilers.
He will be though. They're probably just like waiting till last.
Yeah,
minute.
they're waiting for a trade. I'll look up the RFAs here
Rasmus
that
Sandin.
are
Yeah.
available. Kirby,
That's at a
Kirby Doc.
stalemate too.
Yeah,
That's
Jake
gonna say-
Ottinger. Jake Ottinger, I think, is the biggest name on this list because I have no idea what Dallas is going to do. Because Ottinger will probably want big money, and the Stars are like, you really haven't played that much to get you big money unless you won a cup like Binnington. Because Binnington, I thought that was a mistake when he signed it because the Blues, he just got hot at the right time and he
Yeah, cup
capitalized
tax,
on
right?
it.
The cup tax.
Yeah,
For
the,
sure.
the cup tax.
Fernando
Same with,
Pisani tax.
with Kemper. But yeah, Ottinger, yeah, he's easily the biggest name on the RFA board, still yet to be signed. When it comes to UFAs, yeah, Kessel, Subban, wouldn't really call those big names. And then when it comes to this, yeah, not really anything that jumps out of my eye. Kyle Turris is on the list, but he retired the other day. The shootout specialist, may I add, Kyle Turris.
Nasty hands.
Anton Strawman, 36 years old.
Strawman, I think, is done too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Andrew Ladd had no idea he was still in the league. He's a UFA. King Louis Erickson. Yeah, it's all the aging guys.
All Arizona Coyotes legends who made a lot of money.
Pretty much, yeah, opening up that cap space to take awful contracts. You know, the Coyotes way.
I honestly think Subban's done as a player.
See, I think it's the other way around. I think Kessel's done, but Subban will try that last gasp because Kessel, he's 34. He's got 2 cups. He's got everything that he's wanted. Subban, 33. I think he's got, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 seasons left in him. 1 at the very most. Don't know who's going to take him. Probably somebody very desperate. Not the Oilers, because we've already got Tyson Barrie. Subban, it's kind of hard to see who wants to take him. The Devils, I don't think they'll take him back unless it's to sort of mentor their young defenseman.
No, bad idea for them, I think.
Not exactly the right defenseman to use as a mentor. It's Kessel. It's Kessel and Subban. They're question marks. It's really only like cup contending teams that will not Subban but Kessel. Like just throw him in the bottom 6. You can still score.
Yeah,
kinda.
I think like a contender could pick him up for cheap, and I think he would play.
Okay, with Kessel, number 1, I don't think he's close to being finished. The guy almost had 60 points last year on the Coyotes. Only 8 goals, but like 50 plus assists.
Underrated playmaker
on that team. On that team, having anything over 50 points and being Kessel is crazy. Number 2, I think he's like 9 or 10 games from passing Keith Yandel for the most games played.
Oh yeah,
in a row.
Yeah, he's hot.
Yeah, so
for sure he's playing this year. I forgot about
that guy's definitely playing. He's gonna beat the record there. Yeah. And I feel like any contending team, if he makes like 1.5, 1 mil, 2 mil, you toss him on the second power play unit, your third line right wing. The guy's gonna be solid. He's played in the league a lot, as you said. Two Stanley Cups. Should have had a Conn Smythe. He's definitely, I feel like, a valuable get for any team. With PK on the other hand, I don't know how much of I don't even know if he's like an above replacement player anymore. For me, he was one of the most electrifying players before he got his back injury. He's one of the most fun players to watch, but obviously you've seen what it's done to him. If the fall off was very quick, I think a team could still use him. Certain teams probably aren't looking at him because he doesn't fit the hockey boys club personality. I think a team that's maybe more ahead of the game in terms of you're allowed to have a personality. They might like him in
Which
the
is
depth
crazy
role.
to say.
Yeah, right.
Come on.
He'd be a good get for an intermission panel show. He would not be a good get for a current NHL team because when he was on, I forget which network
Was he on
was.
TNT?
It was either TNT or ESPN, but he was on the panel during the playoffs, and he showed his.
He was so good.
Yeah,
he was so good.
He showed his personality, and it's weird because on a panel you can show your personality, and nobody blinks an eye, but as soon as you show personality on the ice, well, he's got an ego, which makes absolutely no sense to me. But that's a different discussion. But yeah, Subban and Kessel, they're not extremely old, but again, you got to take that age into consideration, and if there's a GM that's gullible enough to sign him long term, that's a huge mistake. So,
yeah, for sure.
Long term, I maybe 2 years for Kessel.
These guys are entering like PTO territory almost. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, the 35 plus contracts.
Yeah, but yeah. Other than that, not really anybody else. Carolina, they had its Stastny as we touched on earlier. I'm a big Paul Stastny fan. I have been since his early Colorado days. I always thought he was a really solid player. I was kind of hoping the Leafs would get him for 1.5 mil. That would have been sick. Carolina always seems to get everyone, but it always seems like they get everyone, but they still don't have like a.
But they can't put it together.
Yeah, or like they don't have like that game changing superstar, which is why whenever it's they're cup contenders. For me, I feel like in the playoffs you need like a Nathan McKinnon or a Kale McCarr or like a Kucherov or a Hedman or a Vasilevsky. I think Carolina has like a million upper echelon NHL players, but they don't have like any of like the top tier guys. As much as like I think Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechnikov, and Chico Slavin are really, really, really good. I don't see them as like guys who are gonna go out there and just score goals no matter what. That's like I feel like a McDavid or a Matthews or a McKinnon could be like, okay, you know what? We're down by 1. I'm gonna go out there and like I'm the superstar, so I'm gonna go score a goal. But at the end of the day, Paul Stastny is really solid depth for them. They're one of them. They've always been a deep team. They kind of hang their hats on having depth, and having Stastny there is sick. Like their depth is crazy now. They didn't really lose anybody.
Looking at their center depth, sorry, Nick. You got Aho, Stastny, Jordan Staal, and then on their fourth line, for some reason, daily faceoff has Jesperi Kotkaniemi on there. So that center depth among one of the best in the league, because especially Paul Stastny's got that that playoff experience that's much needed on this team. Because looking at it, I'm not too sure. I think Jordan Staal is probably the only other player with that playoff experience forward wise. Defense is a different story because you got Brent Burns, of course.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then it all comes down to, because they got Pacioretty, but he's out until probably midway through the season, I do believe.
Might even be the trade deadline.
Yeah, still a good signing to have that guy for the playoffs. That's a good
He's a pure goal scorer, Pacioretty.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really, really good pickup for them, but it just kind of sucks that he got injured.
And then you got to see what kind of Freddie Anderson the Canes get in the playoffs too, right? So.
Oh, I've seen Freddie Anderson in the playoffs.
Everybody has. If you're gonna get Anaheim or Toronto, Freddie, spin the wheel.
No.
Yeah. Other than that, nothing really to say about free agency. It's kind of dead. We just wanted to just quickly discuss that because
Well, it's not dead in a way because the RFA pool is ridiculous because you got Sonny Milano still not signed, Rasmus Sandin. There's a few guys, but some of those, I think even Ryan McLeod, Matt mentioned, some of those are going to go the distance. Sandin is going to go the distance, I think. They're not going to pay him what he's asking for.
Him and Ottinger, because Ottinger's going to get big money. The Stars may not like it, but you have to wrap that up before some team walks along with an offer sheet. So
that's not going to happen.
If I was Montreal, I'm just saying. Because
but Ottinger doesn't play for the Canes. That's the real difference here.
Yeah, it's not a petty move, so they won't do it. No. I think if you're Montreal, look at that because you have no goalie. And
Jake Allen's good, man. He's good.
All right,
but there's also that.
No, he's like a 1A guy. But he's good.
He's not good starting goalie. No. He's
from Montreal because Montreal wants to be bad.
No.
And the added risk too, because if you offer sheet him big money and then you have to give Dallas those picks, Montreal is going to suck. So you run the risk of giving up those high value picks.
They could do what's it called, a sign and trade too.
They might.
Dallas isn't going to sign and trade Jake
Dallas
Ottinger.
is probably not going to want to do that because that'd be stupid, especially before the season starts. But their hands are tied too. It's interesting.
They'll sign him. They'll fork out the money eventually. They need
if you're Dallas, you should because
it's
a good
the
goalie.
problem is.
Did you see what he did against Calgary?
Yeah,
that's enough reason to sign him.
The problem is Tyler Seguin and Jimmy Benn can barely skate, and they make too much money.
Yeah,
they make too much money.
Just too much money.
They've dealt with a lot of like Seguin signed that contract.
Jamie Benn is going down. Did that one go over?
That's a niche joke. That's a very niche joke.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah, free agency, aside from the RFAs who usually just end up back with their own teams, nothing's really happening. Let's move on to the World Juniors ended, and one of to me, one of the most entertaining gold medal games I've ever watched. That shit was so fucking good. Mason McTavish, that was his goddamn tournament. Holy shit, what a guy. That's why he's my background today. Anaheim, they got a good one there.
He's a good player. And a clutch player.
In real time, when I thought that puck crossed the line, and then McTavish batted it down. I was like, okay, horn's gonna blow, puck crossed the line, Finland wins, but it came nowhere close to crossing the line. That was just, in real time, I think in the situation that it was in, that was one of the best defensive plays I've ever seen, no matter what level or league of hockey. That was ridiculous.
That game, on top of that, the game literally had everything. Like, you have the hometown team, or the home country team, go up 2-0. It's like, we're going to win. And then the other team comes back, ties the game, and you're like, shit. And a great comeback in the third, by the way. Both goals in the third. And they were all over Canada in the third. Were. Like, I was watching passively because I wasn't sitting down to watch it. I was, like, doing other stuff. I was watching it passively, like the rest of the tournament. But anyway, they murdered them in the third. And I was like, this is not good for Canada going to overtime because 3-on-3, momentum shifts, whatever. And then you get the McTavish defensive play, the save, and I think it was less than a minute later they win on like an amazing play.
The Stankoven over to Kent Johnson.
Yeah,
and that initial save, I have the Finnish goalie's name on the top of my head, but I can't get it to you right now. But that initial save, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, both amazing plays at the end of the ice, and then Johnson buries home the rebound. But the first 40 minutes was all Canada. And in the third, that was probably their worst period of the tournament. They just couldn't get anything going. When you go 0 for 7 on the power play, you don't really deserve to win. And the power play, that's a whole different issue on its own. They just couldn't get anything going. They tried the same stuff over and over. Gord Miller and Mike Johnson were talking all tournament about, Connor Bedard's release, how lethal of a shot it is. And then Dave Cameron puts him in. He put him in the bumper. Like, you can't really showcase your initial shot if you have him in the middle, because all he can do is bury home a potential rebound. But is Kent Johnson and McTavish. He was phenomenal on the power play all tournament. I don't know what happened against Finland in the third, but just couldn't get anything going. Block shots, missed passes leading to odd man rushes the other way. I thought Finland was going to bury a shorthanded goal at one point because 7 power plays, they're bound to have something go the other way.
Like, it was the 2 minute, and then they got a breakaway. And then two breakaways, I want to say. It was either 1 or 2. Some guy got killed. I forgot his name. What was it?
Stapchuk. I thought that was 5 minutes.
That guy got killed in the boards, bro. Oh my god! I was like, no way.
He's the biggest guy on the team, and he got killed. Like, if this isn't 5 minutes, I don't know what is. But it got
nothing.
Yeah, got reduced
down to 2.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Pavelski.
But the tournament, I thought in itself was not too entertaining. Like, the preliminary and the qualifying rounds, it was kind of interesting to see USA go down to, I think it was Czechia, so early. And then, that gold medal game to me, like, made up for the fucking entire tournament because it was so goddamn good. Like, that was sometimes if I want to like show someone like if they're getting into hockey, like, what's an entertaining game, I would tell them to rewatch that game because it was so exciting. It was so exciting, and like, I always want Canada to win, obviously, but like if Finland won, I wouldn't have been like pissed because like that's a good story too. Like, to me, it's like the World Juniors is when like I cheer for Canada to win, but like I'm also looking at like the new young players that are going to come into the league soon, which is always entertaining. So I'm not like super like patriotic. Like, it's not like the Olympics to me where if Canada loses, I'm gonna be like pissed.
Salty.
So like that was a really good game. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, Bedard, I feel like Canada's coaching in the World Juniors is always so goddamn iffy. Like, they're not really that like good.
At the start of the tournament, they give some of the trust to the younger players. Like, they hate bringing anybody that's under 18, but Bedard is an exception. But they give that trust to the younger players, and as the tournament goes on, you start to see, I don't want to say reduced ice time, but you start to see those star young players just become less effective, and you could see it in the gold medal game too. And it also was due to the fact that Finland got under Bedard's skin. Like after every whistle, you could see him be shoved. And that starts to get to a player, no matter how good you are, if they're really good at getting under your skin, then there's not really much you can do about it besides try to put your head down and just keep going. It's just, it was the power play coaching decisions. I don't want to go back to that again, but it's just, it makes you shake your head and try something new. If it's not working, then try something new. Who cares if the other team catches on to it? It'll be something new.
Yeah, I agree.
Dave Cameron, noted
Dave Cameron
World
special.
Junior choker. No, I'm joking, but he is.
Oh no, you're not joking. It's the 2011 gold medal game, 3-0 up against
2011
Russia.
was the year of Dave Cameron, bro. The gold medal game against Russia, they give up the 3-0 lead, lose to Russia. Then in the OHL final with the Mississauga St. Michael's Majors, he gives up the series lead, and then they lose, and then they give up the lead in Game 7. Then they lose in Game 7 overtime on home ice. Because they were the host team, they get to go to the Memorial Cup. Anyway, they choke in the final. All the same coach. Awful year for him. And Finland tied it 2-2. And I was like, yes, we're right on track. Here we are.
Yeah, man.
Status quo.
Yeah, I was like, all is right in the universe. Epic.
And as we look forward to December, I know McTavish won't come back, but he's eligible for it, which is kind of crazy. Like he could, and then just like probably break a bunch of records.
Well,
but
he can be in the AHL, right? Like, how old is he? Like 20?
He's 19.
So I guess he could be in the.
He'll be
AHL
20 and he'll be 20 at the end of January because we're born in the same year.
Yeah, so he's eligible to for the AHL. So he can.
Yeah.
He's gone. Yeah, he's not. He's not playing.
It'd be kind of sick if he did though.
He's a good player, man. It's exciting for Anaheim to see that they have two guys like him and Zegras coming up.
And they have what was his name? Zellweger?
Yeah, Olin Zellweger. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Anaheim's gonna be good. It'd be kind of sick because like it won't be good this year, so they could go for Bedard and to have like that duo forever and ever.
Bedard belongs to Chicago.
Yeah, he's a Hawk. Yeah.
Based on the tournament, wrap it up. I feel like McTavish is the easy answer, so I'm gonna say you can't say him when we ask who was one of your favorite players from the tournament because that's it's kind of an easy answer. But who would you guys say?
Darius, I'll let you go first.
Who's the guy who passed it to Johnson for the winning goal?
Stankoven.
Stankoven.
Logan Stankoven.
Logan Stankoven. I had no idea who he was, and I was like, this guy's a player. He had a really nice, he has a good shot. He had a nice goal where he used a shot that I can think of off the top of my head, and then that pass at the end, like the awareness to know Johnson's there with him, right? Sneaky good player in the tournament. I'll give it to him since I can't pick McTavish.
Yeah, Matt.
I'm gonna go with Jesper Wallstedt, mostly because he played like up to this point the best hockey of his life, and he couldn't get anything in front of his team. Like he almost lost to Latvia. That wasn't his fault. That was just Sweden just kind of laying off the gas. Oh, it's only Latvia, right? 2014 Canada, Latvia, but it's like he got zero support, but he solidified himself as like the top goalie prospect in the world. We didn't really see much of Sebastian Cossa from Canada. I think he played in the first game. But if I saw more of him, maybe I'd make a more detailed analysis. But Wallstedt finished the tournament with a 1.62 goals against average and the best save percentage of the tournament with a 93.98 save percentage. It's just ridiculous how little support he got. One bronze, not like he's going home empty-handed, but the game against Finland, I think the shots were Sweden got outshot 28-23. And it's like you have to do more. And in a 1-0 game, you can't fault the goalie. You can't really fault Sweden for any of the losses because Wallstedt played the best that he could, but just team in front of him couldn't get him done. It's the Price Lundqvist situation all over again.
That's fair. Who drafted Wallstedt? Was it Minnesota? No.
It was Minnesota, and I watched him play every minute with much regret because I love him, and I don't know why Edmonton traded the pick for him because we originally had the pick that Minnesota selected him at, but we traded it and selected Xavier Bourgault. I think we traded 2 or 3 spots down. No idea why we did that, but that's a
Stuart Skinner, bro. Stuart Skinner.
Yeah. And Campbell. that's a big brain Ken Holland move right there. Old man Kenny at it again, folks.
We got soup.
I'm not gonna pick a player of the tournament. If I were to, I would pick. My pick would be Ronnie Hirvonen, but I already talked about him. I thought he was sick throughout the whole tournament.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Who gets an applause from me? Team Latvia. You know, because like
yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, you know they played really hard. There was 2 guys, the NHL draftees. They were actually pretty solid for them. Their names both leave me right now, but they won a game which was pretty sick. Like
their first preliminary round win too.
That's fucking sick.
And they only lost the game. They got eliminated. They only lost 2-1, I think.
Yeah, like they didn't get like destroyed.
Yeah,
every game.
They're playing well. Like it's not that they just weren't winning or they got with the 1 win, which is great. Like they were playing well, close games. Like that makes it exciting. It's good for them.
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely dope. Like it's great for the country. Huge for Latvian hockey to see like they're not getting killed like 13-1 every goddamn game. So yeah, that's pretty sick. What caught my eye? Team Latvia. Good for them, man. In a tournament where it wasn't really too entertaining, they were a good story to come out of it. So Team Latvia, pretty dope. So
before we move on from World Juniors,
okay.
Matt, do you remember when I got tickets to a relegation game and I thought it was like a tournament?
Oh,
game?
in 20. Yeah, you thought it was Team Canada playing in the semis.
Yeah.
Nope. Relegation round. I think it was
So I got
Germany, Switzerland. Yeah.
I got tickets through somebody else, and I was told that I was going to the semifinal game between I think it was Canada, Slovakia maybe. And this was probably the 2015 World Juniors.
That team was sick.
Yeah, or it might have been
that Slovakia team that had Dennis Godla. For those that remember that,
and he saved fucking everything. Oh my god.
Yeah. So I thought I was going to that game. That's what I was told. Okay, so that's what I told Matt, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm going to semifinal game. This is sick." And then the day of the game, I was told I'm going to the relegation game at like 3, and I'm like, "What is a relegation game?"
This is not Team Canada. Team
Canada
doesn't play at 3.
Yeah, I ended up going. Because I was
free hockey.
Yeah, I was off. And I'm like, I'm gonna go. I got the tickets, so I was like, I went with a cousin, whatever. And I'm like, but I was like looking at the tickets, and I was like, Germany and Latvia, or was it even Latvia? I can't remember. I can't even remember who it was.
It was. This was at Scotiabank, right?
Yeah.
Scotiabank Arena.
Well, it was Air Canada Center at the time.
So you went downtown all the way down. That's not too far, but still, it's a little bit of a game.
I think I left my house at like 11 a.m. because the game was at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. But I thought it was the 7 o'clock semifinal game, right? So, but Matt always likes. He gives me shit about it because like. He's like, oh, you thought you were going to semifinal game, whatever. I was told I'm going to Canada, Slovakia. And then I got the ticket, and it was Germany relegation game. I was like, I don't even know what this is. 3 p.m. I'm like, that's weird.
Who would have been? Would anybody have been on Germany then in 2015?
No, I think the Oilers kept
Draisaitl. Yeah, they kept Draisaitl.
Yeah, year after. Yeah. So they're in the it's a relegation game. Like you're not seeing anybody good. I was like, yeah, I was pissed.
That's funny, bro. That's funny. Oh my god.
Took the GO train at like 12 p.m. You know, like.
Yeah. Fuck. Jesus Christ. At least the GO train was empty. You know, it was a nice.
Empty. And I'm going and I'm leaving, and everyone's like, "Yeah, Canada, like coming," and I'm like, "Yeah, this is awesome. This is great."
This guy's at Union Station going home, and everyone's getting
scalpers and stuff. I'm like, I'm good.
Guy goes to a Germany game Team Canada.
What if you just hid in the washroom for like 4 hours?
No, I think they kick everyone out. They do like a sweep for those tournaments.
You didn't try hard enough.
And when you go down at the World Juniors, so at Leafs games you can kind of do whatever you want. At least in my experience, but at those games there's security everywhere, and they'll like any entrance they'll ask for your ticket, and then they'll like come to your seats and stuff. Yeah,
actually, on
the topic of that, I went to Tampa and Ottawa like this past season in December. Nobody there. Okay, like everyone was like, oh, the Sens are playing. No, they're not. So nobody there. The attendance was shit, and it's Tampa. So I'm there with my cousin. I'm like, hey, let's go sit at the bottom, right? because there's nobody there. So we're like scouting seats. We're like, okay, we're gonna go there. We go sit down. The usher comes over. He's like, can I see your tickets? I'm like, I don't have my tickets. Right? No, you can't see them. These are my seats. Don't worry. And he's like, no, you weren't sitting here before. You got to go back up. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, so I was giving him shit. I was like, yeah, this looks really nice on TV, man. With nobody sitting here. Might as well be sitting here.
Well, that arena's it's in the middle of a field. No wonder anybody can't find it.
It's literally just
dude, my first time being there, and everyone's like, oh, it's in the middle of a field. And I'm like, how bad is it? There's nothing around. There's a Costco. That's it. Like,
hey, man, that's a cheap pregame meal, bro. Come on.
$1.50 hot dog and a drink? Come on.
I actually had exactly that before the
game. But yeah, that's a funny story, bro. I'd probably be cheesed if someone promised me Team Canada tickets and I'm watching two teams that like there's literally no like okay, if you went to go see Germany and like Draisaitl was playing, at least that's like something redeeming.
Right.
It was like
Draisaitl and friends. Like you don't know anybody else on that team.
Literally.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But
I did end up seeing Canada that year, but it wasn't that game. So
yeah. But yeah, moving on from that, big news out of the NHL today. The World Cup of Hockey is coming back. I think they said 2024. Yep. The last one was what, 2016?
2016.
2016?
Yeah, September 2016. Yep.
The tournament of Brad Marchand. So that was cool. What do you guys think of the World Cup of Hockey coming back? February. It's gonna be where the Olympics are, basically.
I was gonna say
it's
it's a cheap imitation of the Olympics. If they do it with just countries, it'd be fine. I don't really like the mashups. Like Team North America, it was a fun concept, but if they won the whole tournament, I wouldn't really cheer because the Americans won too, and that would just feel wrong, right? Like it's nice to see the young players have a chance to play in the tournament, but it could have been done. It could have been way better, like execution wise. And then Team Europe was Team Europe. It's like cool. Couldn't they just put the Slovaks in there?
Like I feel like that Team North America, especially, would be way more cracked than any Team North America we would get nowadays. Like just look at who was on that roster, man. Are you crazy? They had McDavid, Matthews, and Eichel. Gaudreau. That team was fucked. That was crazy.
It was really good. And they're like, I don't know, like I feel like that was a main attraction for a lot of people, like the young team and then the Team Europe. Maybe not Team Europe so much, but like Team North America, like that was a big attraction for the tournament, right? It wasn't just like Canada, like these countries and stuff. So I think the timing was right. Like you said, like you had McDavid, like what a stupid roster that team had.
I think McKinnon was on there too.
Yeah, McKinnon definitely. Eichel.
McKinnon, Matthews before he even played a game in the NHL.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
And it was in Toronto, so it was kind of like this. They had a lot going for them. Yeah, they had a lot going for them. So I don't know who would be on the Team North America. I think you have to bring back the gimmick teams, just because it's like it'll be good, like to sell tickets, like gimmicky. But
Team North America. Yeah, I think they're cool. I think it's cool.
It's a thing I think they have to do. Like they have to bring that back. But the thing is, like you're not gonna have the names you had the last time. So will it be as successful? I don't know. Like I think 2016 was so successful and everyone talked about it and like the viewership was up and whatever because it was like perfect timing. But I'm not sure 2024 is going to be the same because of the rosters and the gimmick is not new anymore. But I think you have to have it.
It was one of the most like innovative things the NHL has done in the last decade, having like Team North America. And I think you're right when you talk about the McDavid being there because he was so hyped up. You had Matthews playing in his home arena basically before playing in a Leafs jersey, which is already selling tickets. You had Nathan McKinnon, who was like, about to hit his peak of stardom. Just
Riley was on that team too.
Yeah, you had Sean Couturier on that team. Johnny Gaudreau was on that team. Jack Eichel was on that team. I feel like
who are the goalies? Because it was
Gibson,
Hellebuck, and Murray.
Yeah. Like that's. I don't know if you did that team again, if they would be that good. Maybe because we're looking at it in hindsight at Team North America, being like, this guy's a superstar, this guy's a superstar, this guy's a superstar. Maybe if they did it again this year, we would look at it again 6 years from now and be like, okay, all that team was also stacked. So hindsight's 2020. But like, I feel like even in the moment, people were like, what the fuck? This team is so cracked and fun to watch. Because like, I feel like that team, if they played like Team Canada, they might not have won. But like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like they might have done something there.
Well, they beat the Swedes, put up a fight against the Russians, and then they beat the Finns too, which is weird because they had a record of 2-1, but they didn't make the playoff round.
Yep.
Because they had lost to Russia, who was the team.
Yeah, they lost.
And they won and it was an overtime win too. Doesn't that affect their?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
One of the craziest overtimes ever. One of the craziest overtimes ever.
Yeah, that overtime, and the goal was nasty to end it too. But that game against Russia was like one of the best hockey games I've seen in the last 15 years. Like if you go back and watch like the last 10 minutes of that game, like it's amazing. And then they hit the post at the end, and the whole crowd's like, "Oh my god!" Like it's really good.
I thought the best game from that 2016 tournament was the Canada-Russia semifinal. That was a really good game, start to finish.
That was a really good game, and a bunch of nice goals too in that game. Like Crosby had a really nice one, and
it was just like the historic storyline too. Like Canada-Russia, you really cannot beat that because I value that way over Canada-USA. When it comes to Canada-Russia, that is the premium hockey rivalry, unless it comes to women's hockey. But we'll get into that with the women's worlds later. Yeah.
Wait, who's Russia? They weren't. I didn't see them in the World Juniors. What's?
Yeah, well, Russia even. Actually, I don't know. Who knows? That's a conversation.
It was Russia's it was Russia's fault.
But yeah. What was I gonna say? The gold medal game was sick too. I remember when Marchand scored the shorthanded goal.
Yeah.
And then he came down and he scored again. That shit was so crazy, bro.
And the second one was so nice. Like it was
that drop pass from Crosby.
Taves.
No, Taves. Yeah, Taves. Yeah.
Holy shit. It's kind of crazy now because, Jonathan Taves is, he won't even touch the team.
No.
He won't even be, he won't even, go to camp.
At that, that was, 6 years ago. Isn't that
crazy? I know, right?
I can't believe that's 6 years ago. You can't convince me that was 6 years ago. I was that was last week, wasn't it?
I was so mad. It was so mad.
Yeah.
I like Team Can. I like this tournament because it gives me a chance to see, some cool players on the same team. That's why I was kind of excited for the Olympics, seeing, Crosby, McDavid, and McKinnon on the same team, or Matthews, Eichel on the same team. Now you're gonna have Jack Hughes, Matthews, and Jack Eichel all on the same team. Who knows how good Bedard might be by then? I mean, he'll probably be on Team North America if that's the thing. But
sure.
Yeah, but holy shit, man, that'll be so exciting. The rosters, it's gonna be sick. I always love international hockey because all the good players are on one team. It's sick.
It's fun.
And not only that, but in February too, I think it's a 2-week break. That'll be nice for the other players of the NHL teams to sort of rest up for that playoff run. So it's kind of underlying storylines there. It's I don't know, you might get some players declining out of the World Cup of hockey. I know some won't because patriotic reasons.
Steven Stamkos, if he's still playing, then he's still.
But other players, they'll take a look at that. It's that's grueling. 2 weeks. These players, it's not the All-Star game. They can't just mess around. So I don't know if there's going to be fines for players that don't participate or suspensions if they'll treat it like the All-Star game, but make it even worse. Because I know if you miss the All-Star game, that's one game suspension. So if you miss the World Cup of hockey, especially because it'll be an NHL funded event, if the star players aren't there, that they lose money off that. So the penalties might be a little more drastic than
I can see a guy like Ovechkin not playing in that tournament.
Well, who knows if
Russia's gonna play?
Exactly, right? They can make a team for them, kind of Team Europe or whatever. I don't know. But you know what I mean?
The World Cup athletes.
Russian NHL athletes or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Don't put it past the NHL. They might do that. But I think they could do something like that. But who knows if he'll even want to participate in that.
Because he'll be trying to still break Gretzky's record by then.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks off for him would be awesome.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So
do you guys think he would break that record?
I think he could.
He's close, man.
Yeah, because it's not like he gets injured. It's just it all boils down to his longevity. So
he's gonna get to a point where he can barely skate, but they're gonna toss him out there on the power play
specialist,
and he'll just score.
Well, he stays in one spot. He stays in one spot. It's not like he's
been in one
energy
spot for 15 years.
It's not like it works. It works.
He doesn't exert energy by moving around. If they cover him, guess what? He just moves to the opposite wing. So
And he does the same thing.
he does the same thing and it works, and that's what I respect about Alex Ovechkin.
He's
Politics
so good,
aside,
yeah.
great player, but it's just ridiculous how effective he's been since 2005.
Yeah.
Oh,
Same
that's
shit. It's the same
disgusting.
shit.
Disgusting to say he's been effective since 2005, and that was
Oh my
17 years ago.
But yeah, World Cup of Hockey, I'm excited for it. I'll definitely be watching. It's international tournaments are always so much fun. Aside from like the Kalinka Gretzky Cup, because no one watches that. Anyway, we have the Women's Worlds, which is mostly always just Canada, USA duking it out at the end of it anyway. I know, Matt, you wanted to talk about this one pretty avidly. So, what was your take on this so far?
Oh, not so much as it, the big two, Canada, US. That's what everyone thinks about. But there's also in recent years, Finland. I know in 2019 they finished silver, should have won gold. Just a big controversy regarding that.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's nice to see a third country not just fall over to Canada and the US. It happens 95% of the time, but just a new country. Even the Switzerland or the Swiss, sorry, they've become the fourth head of the four-headed monster when it comes to international women's hockey. But I mean, Canada, US, you can't beat that for gold in the group stage. I know in February, I stayed up to watch that gold medal game, and it was the most entertaining game of not just the women's tournament, but the whole hockey tournament in general, because that men's tournament was just a snooze fest from start to end. If it doesn't have NHL players, I most likely won't be watching. It's just nice seeing the continued rivalry, from 98. You had Wickenheiser and Cami Granato, and 02, Wickenheiser again, and Cassie Campbell, and in 06. It was just, there's a new generation of Canadian women's hockey players that you can sort of enjoy watching and sort of go up against the Americans, because I know the Americans have Hillary Knight, Kendall Coyne-Schofield, and I forget who their goalie was, but in that 2018 shootout, that was a real treat to watch. That's all I really have regarding, the Women's World Tournament. It starts tomorrow. I think it's in Denmark.
Yep.
So the games will be on at stupid times of the day, but I'll make sure to watch them.
It's unfortunate that they're on at terrible times, because like it's good hockey to watch, man. Like it's like you were saying, like the tournament in February, like that last game was awesome. Like it was really good.
It was sick. I remember watching that.
Yeah,
It was so sick.
It was awesome, man. And like the product is really good. Like I feel like not enough people give it a chance, and it's not like it's starting to be more mainstream in the way where like there's more social about it, and they might broadcast it on Sportsnet here and there or whatever it may be. But there should be more eyes on it. Like I think it's a good product, and the women are marketable too. Like they have how should I put it? Like a swagger about them. You know what I mean? Like some of them, and people do care, man. Like and it's important, I think, for the women's game, not just here in Canada, but around the world, that we showcase these stars, because they are stars, and we showcase them because just like us, we're like, you point at your favorite player and you're like, I want to be like them, right? So it's important.
It's also like a huge representation factor for like people growing up. Like when we were growing up, it was so easy to see like, oh, like Sidney Crosby, he's this guy, or like I want to be like him. Now like you see these like for example like a Marie-Philippe Poulin, or like even before Haley Wickenheiser, like people that are growing up that may not have been represented properly in the sport, like even as simple as like a male female thing, like seeing someone that is like you playing the sport is so big. I remember when I was younger, seeing like Nazem Kadri being on like my favorite team is insane, because like there's like 3 brown guys in the NHL, and like one of them is Jujhar Khaira, and he's not like the best, and like Kadri's like sick, like he's really good, and he like carries his like his like ethnicity around with him, which is dope to see. So it's huge representation to see these players. We'll get into it I guess now because like with Sarah Nurse just being announced to officially be on the cover, it was already leaked before. It's like Darius's background right now, as you guys can see.
Yeah.
But yeah, like number one, she's the first female athlete to be on an NHL cover, and she's a person of color, which is insane. It's big for representation. It's huge. Yeah. So the league cover, we'll get into that now. I think, as I said last time, I don't care about covers. I never
Right.
do
Yeah.
because I don't really look at the cover. I press X and I go into the menu, so I don't really care for it. A lot of people were like, "Oh, Zegras isn't good enough to be on the cover." Seriously, who cares? He's good for the league. They're not going for the most skilled or best players. They're going for who can represent the league the best to their demographic. I don't know why people can't get that through their heads. It's pretty easy to understand.
I remember one year they put Glenn Healy on the cover. It was an action shot. I think it was burying Glenn Healy.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Really, who cares if they put Glenn Healy on the cover? Then I think anybody is, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Zegras and Nurse. Like, I think last episode I think I said it didn't really look like a hockey video game cover, but it's something new. It's something different, and it kind of breaks from the status quo of Matthews or McDavid with an action shot. It's something new. And
I mean, last year was literally Matthews walking through the dressing room,
yeah.
it wasn't
And,
like him
yeah.
actually playing.
I
Both
think,
of his covers, haven't been him like doing anything. Like one of the 21 was him just like
That's right.
standing
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and then the 22 one was him like just
Taping
like
his
the X
stick.
Factor cover. The X Factor cover is him taping his stick, and then the normal cover is him just like walking through the tunnel. Which it's kind of a cool shot. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't know why people care about the cover of the game. Like number one, the game sucks, so it doesn't really matter. And number two, like you're buying the game digitally, bro. Like you're not paying the money to like get the physical copy. No one goes to fucking EB Games anymore. What the hell?
Hey.
Like
Like,
you
It's
go there?
GameStop.
Like
GameStop,
if you look at a video game cover on your shelf and you get mad at it, that's a you problem.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't know why people are getting so mad about it, bro.
I
Like,
think,
literally, who cares?
I think to
They're
clear
never
the air,
happy.
I think like, okay, I was complaining about it earlier because I think, so I'm on the opposite side in a way where I do care about it. Not so much, like I'm not going to lose sleep
You're
over
such
it.
a
Let me clear
loser, bro.
let me clear the air. Like I'm not going to lose sleep over it, right? But when I see like palm trees and stuff, like it's almost like they're trying too hard to like, I don't know. Like they're trying too hard to do something
Like they're trying to
different.
make it too right? Make it hard to
You don't have to like Zegers.
You don't have to try too hard.
Yeah, you don't have to put Zegers with the shorts in front of palm trees. Like the palm trees don't have to be in it and all this stuff, right? Like you don't have to try that hard, I think. And like there was a whole thing on Twitter earlier where people are like, "Oh, these people are so mad about the cover because a woman is on it and Zegers, he's not good enough, whatever." I don't have a problem with who's on the cover at all. I think like it's actually fantastic who's on the cover this year. Like it's a big deal,
I like him.
and it should
I
be
like it.
celebrated actually. And I like it, and I like the fact that they're both on the cover, and it's good. It's a good thing. It's the cover itself just seems like the covers we grew up with were sick, and I just feel like this is a little bit lazy in a way. Like it does not represent like what hockey is in a way. Like I know it sounds stupid. But it doesn't. It's just like the palm trees and stuff. Like it's like I don't know. It looks like an NBA cover where you're like on my court and there's like palm trees and stuff.
This would be a sick NBA cover. Like imagine if it was NBA
Yeah,
players.
yeah.
That'd be kind of sick. That
It would
be
go
kinda
kind of
sick.
hard, like Miami Beach and stuff. Like
Yeah.
okay, right? But like for this, it's like I don't know. They're outside and stuff. Like they could have just gotten really creative with it. And like I said, at the end of the day, like this is me critiquing it. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it, and I'm not gonna look at it. Like every time I boot up my PlayStation, I'm not gonna look at the cover. Oh my god, and be so mad about it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I
Like,
don't care.
what?
Right? But if I am gonna critique it and like they released it and stuff, like it looks a little lazy. But I think it's fantastic who's on the cover. Let me just make that
I agree
clear.
with
Like
you.
it's
I agree with
fantastic
you.
and it should be celebrated.
I don't have a problem with the cover itself. It's the radio silence from EA. Because in a normal year,
No,
in a normal year, in two weeks, like I think it was always like the second Tuesday of September, the game would be released. But it's August 24th, 2022, and we're getting a reveal trailer tomorrow.
Which we will talk about in the next episode.
I am scared to see. They used
Scared
to
about what,
release.
though?
They used to release a trailer at the NHL Awards, and then
I
from
know.
Which is
that
in
moment,
June.
in
The
June,
NHL awards in June,
in
mid-June, by the way.
And from that moment on, they would ram it down our throats all summer about what's new and what's coming, and they would do trailers throughout the the summer until it came out in September. Now you don't hear shit until it's literally September next week. We haven't heard shit about this game except for the cover today, and there's a gameplay trailer coming tomorrow, there will be no gameplay in it. I promise you that.
Got to put the quotes in there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like they're just gonna show like the Zegras Michigan pass that you're never gonna be able to do.
Yeah, you're gonna need like this trait, or you can only do it in Be a Pro when your guy's 99 overall, and in a game
you play on rookie.
In a game mode, no one plays.
And you got to turn the sliders just to get it the first time.
Exactly. And, these stupid deeks can't even use your character. Anyway. But I'm scared because we got the whole thing with NHL 15. And now everyone is begging for crossplay. And I know what they're going to do. They're going to present it to us like you know that episode of SpongeBob where he opens up like the case and it's old reliable and it's like the spatula like shining and shit. It's going to be like that. Like crossplay. Here you go, guys. That's our only new feature this year.
But the thing is though, everyone's gonna get it's the one thing the entire community wants. That's the one thing. Like me and you and Matt, like all of us here, we can be like, okay, I want this in World of Chell. People in franchise mode can be like, I want this in franchise mode. People in HUT can be like, I want this in HUT. Everyone who plays any mode can agree that crossplay. Like, dude, I talk about this with my friends. If we got NHL 22. And they called it NHL 23, but like with crossplay, I would pay $90 for it. I would do it. I don't care.
I hate the fact that I would too, but
I'm tired of playing one game every 3 hours, bro. I'm fucking over it.
And they split the whole community. Like honestly, because there's guys on the PS4 version, like there's guys that do different things and they play a certain way, whatever, and there's different leaderboards, and then there's like you've completely split the whole NHL community with what they did. And there's two things here. They're either gonna present it like here's a new feature, which wipe your ass with that because it's not, because it should just be a given. Because like look at Fortnite, you can play that thing on your iPhone.
I was thinking about this, like remember when Among Us came out, bro? That should have crossplay.
Immediately. And
it's a $5 game that like three people made.
Yeah.
Like,
so
what the fuck?
They're either gonna present it like a new feature, or they're going to be like, what's that? You guys have been asking for this for 9 years, just like GM Connected? Well, we're not going to give it to you. And
see, and what I think EA is going to do is they're going to do what they did with FIFA. It's like, hey, you guys want to cross-play? Or you're getting cross-play, but it's only with HUT or only money-making mode.
Exactly.
I think that's what they're going to do.
Is that what they did?
Yeah, FIFA, you can play cross-play, but only in FUT.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that with pro clubs.
You can't do pro clubs.
It's stupid.
And I if they do end up introducing it, I 100% see that being a thing, even with online versus. I don't think... Like, World of Chell has to be their most played game mode, I think.
It's HUT. It's HUT.
Yeah, it's got to be HUT.
Maybe outside of HUT, because like HUT is all the kids getting their parents' credit cards at Christmas and shit, right? Which is understandable.
Good times.
But like their second most game played mode, right? Like something they should put time and effort into.
Bro, EA
don't.
Those NHL games only have like 2 modes that people play, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's kind of sad,
like people play franchise mode for like the first. Whenever I get the game, the first thing I do is I make my Roller Shell character, and if like we aren't playing, for example, I'll do at least franchise mode, right? I always do one every year to start it off, and then I do the franchise mode, and then I don't touch franchise mode for a while,
ever,
and then I just play World of Chell because like it's so much fun. But yeah, I did not know that EA was with FIFA. They were only doing it for what was it called, FUT?
Yeah, like FIFA Ultimate Team.
Yeah, that's crazy. I did not know that.
And
wow.
I just saw on Twitter actually before we started recording that on the cover of 23, there is a dual entitlement logo,
right?
Which FIFA has, which means when you buy the PS5 version, you also get the PS4 version. Now,
I heard
if you get both, what is the point of cross? You know what I mean? Like if there was crossplay, you should only need one.
Here's what I heard about what dual entitlement can mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember when I bought Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War on the PS4.
Yeah.
And it was like you get dual entitlement. So like if you get the PS5, you upgrade, you don't have to pay for it again. So they can, that could also be what they're talking about.
So I guess it's not so much like backwards.
No. Like it'll be like
if it's not, then that's great.
That makes sense, right? It makes sense because why the fuck would I can see EA making you pay $80
Yeah,
twice.
yeah. It's like, oh, you
But
here spend $80. Oh, you got a new console. Okay, well,
do it
full
again.
price.
Do it again.
You
Do it
asked me
again.
to play the PS4 version of 22 the other day, or maybe like last month anyway. And I was like, sure. And I went to load up my game, and I found out I didn't have the PS4 version. I don't care what version of NHL 22 I bought. I should have both versions. It doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
how does that make any sense? Like, anyway.
Here's the thing: it's EA. It doesn't make sense.
That's right. That's 100%. Oh my God.
Can't spell doesn't make sense without EA, folks.
I've heard a lot of people too, like, they should add, and I'm a huge advocate for it, like, add in the opportunity to, like, rejoin a game if you lag out or something, and you can just join in the middle of the game again. Like, they'll never add that. You guys know that, right? Like,
Yeah, no.
like
They're
we
not
can
gonna do that.
scream from the mountaintops, and they'll never add something like that. If it's ever convenient for the player, it's not going in the game.
Listen. Okay, I wanna close this conversation now.
Okay.
Just because I think we should do an episode before the new game comes out where we just
That's
give into it. We'll talk. We can do a next episode.
Well, we
We'll
should
do,
say that next episode we will talk about it because the trailer's coming out tomorrow as we record this, so we will definitely deep dive.
We'll do a whole episode on like our gripes with EA, what we could improve on, because we could talk about that for 2 hours on itself.
I got blocked
An
by
episode-
EA Sports NHL one time on Twitter.
They follow me. I can't believe it. Yeah, but episode 4 will be the trailer deep dive, and then episode 5 will be coming back to the basics with hockey news, because I don't think camps open up until before September 20th.
No.
So
We got time.
not really a whole lot unless there's like RFA news. But episode 4 will just be
We'll
devoted
literally
to
talk
the
about
EA.
NHL.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
EA
I'm
NHL
sure we'll
series.
like we're gonna dissect the trailer because I'm sure they're gonna give us something to digest, right? Like,
Did you guys see the tagline? It says "Hockey is greater together."
yes.
I think that just means like Zegras and Nurse together.
That's what
right?
I was thinking that too. I was thinking
Yeah.
that too. But it also could be crossplay because these guys are slimy like that.
People
So-
listen. People are like, "Oh, hockey's better together." That means we're all gonna get to play together, and it's crossplay. It's EA. It doesn't mean that at all.
It's EA.
That's
Look
way
at the
too
cover.
obvious.
Look at the cover. That's
Yeah.
what it means.
That's so crazy though. Like
That's way too obvious.
They know everyone wants crossplay. If they're gonna use that tagline, that's fucked.
That's
crazy.
literally like when the crowd, like when WWE went back to Chicago and they were chanting CM Punk and Paul Heyman came out to his music. That's what
It's a
EA
cult
does.
of personality.
That's what EA does.
Didn't that happen when like Jeff Hardy, like CM Punk came out?
Yeah, CM Punk came out as Jeff Hardy. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Or, like,
same thing.
They do that all the time. Like the Miz came out as The Rock.
The Rock. Yeah, no, they do Gilbert. There's a bunch of them.
It's Lucy and the football over again. They hold it out. We go to kick it. They pull it away, and we buy the game every single year.
Yeah.
It's so
We
true.
keep trying to buy new football.
Listen,
but, you know,
this all
keeps
being
getting
said
taken
though,
away.
yeah, exactly. This all being said though, like I hope the game is good. I hope things work out.
I always do. What?
I really, really do. But I've just seen it too often to get too excited.
And it happens every year where you play the beta, and you know there's a few minor tweaks that you have to get used to, but the beta has some of the best gameplay available.
Oh my god!
And everybody complains, and then they revert it back to what it was for the last build of the previous game, and it's like you just keep going in circles, and what's the point anymore?
The beta for
that's
22, I remember us all saying when we were playing together, we're like, this is not bad. And then like 22 came out, and we're like, I can't make a pass. Like,
And
the
we got
beta
the
was
day
better.
one patch.
Yeah.
here's the thing with the betas is the gameplay itself inherently is usually good, but there's always like one mechanic that's usually broken. I remember for some reason in the betas it's always the passing. The passing never functions properly. Like, you can never make a good pass.
Or
like,
it was the 20, I think it was the NHL 20 beta, like every deflection went up into the crowd, and that
Yes.
got
Yeah.
got
Yes.
extremely
Yes.
annoying.
But the thing is, like, they're like fans will be like, okay, like the gameplay is good, but like this one thing needs to be fixed. Like, oh, okay, let's change everything. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
you can't stick
like,
lift anymore. It's penalty.
Yeah, or I remember one year, like cross creases are always bad, but like might have been the 21 beta. Like they were like worse than usual. Like every single fucking one went in. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was either 20 or 21.
Yeah.
But yeah. I remember that in the beta, and we're like this. I remember like somebody pointed out, and I'm like, there are a lot of cross crease goals right now.
Like
every goal.
there's always a lot, but it seemed like literally every
It was
goal
every
was
goal.
like pass gets through and it goes in.
Yeah.
So it's like they just need to fix. And the NHL video games are the king of little things that ruin the game. Like there's in every EA NHL game, there's not like one massive thing that they need to fix. It's always like 5 little things that they never get around to doing. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap the conversation there just because I don't want to get too angry. And I think we should talk about this when the trailer comes out tomorrow.
Yes.
So let's wrap this up. I just want to say, we've been getting some love on our TikTok account, at the Gritcast. I wouldn't say it's necessarily love, but it's views and likes. So
yeah, a lot of interaction.
Yeah, interactions. Yeah. One guy said, I have no good opinions, so it's kind of mean, but that's cool, man.
Well, I mean, you know.
Oh, fuck you. But
thank you for the interaction over on the socials.
Yeah, we were.
To that person,
TikTok.
I say, watch the rest of the show. I have worse opinions.
Yeah, that's right.
I think we all have pretty bad opinions, you know.
Not me. Never.
The cover sucks. I won't sleep tonight.
Oh, that guy's opinion's on Sarah Nurse.
But yeah, so thank you for the love there. We usually end the podcast with like one question for the group. You know how I'll end it ended around this time. What is everyone's favorite Gatorade flavor? Matt, you go first.
Oh,
blue. It's pretty standard, but I'm a blue guy through and through.
Okay, Darius.
Just for the sake of being different, like blue is definitely the one. But just for the sake of being different, like I do enjoy red. Red is quite good. It hits different.
I'm a massive purple guy. I love grape flavored stuff.
If green apple was available all year round, green apple would be my choice, but it's blue.
They always have green apples at like the weird convenience stores. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like the weird
like the weird
stores.
bodegas.
Yeah. They're not like owned by like any big company, but you go in there and they have
but they somehow have green apple Gatorade, and they never tell you where they get it from.
Yeah.
Like it's some like unkept secret.
It's secret, yeah, between the other convenience stores, like.
Yeah, it's so weird. But yeah, are you guys Gatorade Zero drinkers or like Gatorade like G2 drinkers, or do you just like the normal ones?
I have Powerade Zero. I like the great Powerade Zeros.
I'm not a big like brand guy. I don't like care like whether it's Powerade or G2 or whatever. Like I think they all kind of taste the same. As long as it has like a little bit of a taste, like I'm fine with it. I'm not like a Gatorade original till I die kind of like. Last question. When you're playing hockey, Gatorade or water on the bench?
I like water.
I used to like Gatorade growing up, but like water is definitely the way to go. Gatorade gets like if it sometimes it would like drip and it like gets all sticky and shit. Like it's not good.
Yeah, you can't spray Gatorade in your face without
that too.
That's just a bad idea.
Yeah. Water is a good idea. Yeah.
And then you grab a Gatorade after the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Like to hydrate after the game or something. Yeah, but like on the bench or something, I think water's definitely the way to go.
Water. Like you grab the classic Gatorade bottle.
Exactly.
And you're just drinking the water out of it.
You take half of it in, you spit half of it out, or else you get cramps. All the coaches said that, and I don't think that's true. But anyway,
urban legend.
Like I don't know, some hydration or whatever, so you don't get cramps. Anyway, in the comments, drop your favorite Gatorade flavor. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back sooner than later, because this trailer, I'm sure it's gonna make us all very happy. Thank you all for watching. Tune in next time. And have a good day or night. Shout out, follow us on the socials. Subscribe if you feel like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. That's fine. At least it lets us know.
No, like it.
And on Spotify too, 5-star rating on
Spotify. 5-star rating. Yes, I gave us our 5-star rating. You know that like medal where like Obama's putting the medal on himself.
Yeah.
That was me giving us a 5-star rating. So
someone's got to get it started.
Someone's got to do it. I took charge. So yeah. Once again, shout out to Darius for recording, editing, and producing this. That's massive. Shout out Matt for once again buying the premium Zoom account. And shout out me because I'm also here. So with that being said, y'all have a good day and take it easy, everyone. Peace out.
Thanks for watching and listening to the Gritcast. For more content, visit our YouTube channel and check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow the guys on social media at Matt_Mondays, at Nick LaFlame, and at Darius Dominguez.